Hello, good evening. How are you doing? My name is Joseph Ngugi. I am one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. And if this is the first time you've been in this group, Casey and myself love to come into this group and just provide a lot of value to you as a pre-physical therapy student. Our dream in Pre-PT Grind is to really help as many pre-PTs as possible get into physical therapy school without wasting time or money. And tonight we're going to talk about something that I really honestly like. It's something that I've struggled with for some time. What's up, F. Scott? How you doing? Shanahan, good to see you as well. And really, especially as a physical therapist, it's a conversation, and it's really something that I have really had to battle even up until very recently. I don't normally share these things like with my friends or anything like that, but for you, I think it'll be a good learning opportunity to just really understand that a lot of the things that you're going through are very common amongst yourselves. Sarah, how you doing? Very common amongst physical therapists. Judy, how you doing? Other pre-physical therapy students that are applying, whether you're non-traditional or traditional physical therapy, a pre-PT student, it doesn't really matter. We all have these struggles, and tonight, that's what I want us to talk about. Because I'll tell you a little story of something that happened this past weekend once we begin, but I'm starting to understand that our mental health, our mental well-being, and really how we feel about our current situation plays a very big role as a pre-PT. It plays a big role into really how successful we are as an applicant, as a future physical therapist and all. And so tonight, let's talk about it. And as you're coming on live, I want you to just tell me that you're here. Say live. If you're watching this later, tell me team replay. And tonight, the topic is how to not let the pre-PT cycle leave you stuck as a pre-PT. And then tonight, we're talking about breaking some mistakes that I have made, some mistakes that a lot of pre-PTs have made. And really, if you understand these mistakes alone, and then also understand how to navigate around them, it really does play a role into really how successful you are as an applicant. Michael, good to see you. And so tonight we're talking about three main mistakes. There are three mistakes that I have made time and time again. Three mistakes I have made, within the last month. But really, if I were, what's up, Sarah? I appreciate you. And if as I get better at these three, as I personally get better at conquering them. Samantha, how you doing? May, how you doing? Lucas, how you doing? As I personally get better, I want you guys to get better as well. I'm not really on these live streams. A lot of things are not just things that I did as a pre-PT. Because if I was doing that, then it would only be giving you education or value based on what worked. And really, for me, it's saying what worked for me and what worked for Casey, what has worked for other pre-PTs. But really, as I'm learning for myself in real time, I would like to also share with you, if that's okay. If that's okay, just let me know in the comments. I would like to share with you some things that I have had to really battle with as a current physical therapist, but also it plagues you as a pre-PT. And if you can stop yourself from making these three mistakes, then it will help you out a lot. All right. So on Friday, this past Friday, I finished working. I was in the physical therapy clinic. I'm taking care of a number of patients, and really I wasn't feeling like myself. I definitely wasn't feeling like myself, and really what it was from that morning. I don't know what it was. I think it was probably I felt like I had stomach issues. I felt like I wasn't sick. There's people that around here. It's Florida, but it was hitting the 60s, and for us that's terrible winter. I know everyone up north is thinking I'm crazy, but there's a lot of people that were getting sick, and I thought maybe that was me. But as I was going through the day, I was like, yo, I don't feel like myself. My buddy Javier, who's another physical therapist, had taken the morning off. He was coming in, in the afternoon, and then I was going to take off the afternoon. And I just did not feel like myself. I felt like I was dragging throughout the whole day. Obviously, like I know how to still take care of people, even though I don't have a lot of energy. And so I was still doing a good job of, at least what I thought was a good job of taking care of the patients the best I could. But by the time lunch hit, I was like, yo, this is not good. I don't know I don't know what's going on, but I already knew like real quick, like something was off. And, I finished up my notes, got an Uber, couldn't even drive. I got an Uber, took it to my place. And as soon as I got into this place here, and I'm pointing at the door right now, I barely made it past the door and like literally just collapsed on the ground. This is just this past Friday. And honestly, I was out for about like 6 hours. And really, like, as I reflect now back, I had just been overworking myself. Like over the past, I would say even like the past 4 months, I just been driving myself into the ground. What's up, Sam? What's up, Sonia? How you doing? I've been driving myself into the ground, not intentionally, but because I just want to take care of so many people. Pre-PTs, y'all are always going to be my number ones, but my patients, my, family, a few things that I've been going with my family. I'm trying to take care of my fiance because we're getting married, in June, and I'm absolutely excited for that. But everything had just compiled and built up to the point where I my body really gave out. And there's a few things that since then I've had to really put aside. Some projects I've been working on, just trying to be like superhuman. But some projects that I've been working on that this weekend I realized I had to push away. But the reason why I was working so hard was because I was making the mistakes that I'm going to share with you tonight. Mistakes that really like led me to do things just because I felt like I had to do them. Made me feel like I had to like overwork myself because other people were overworking themselves, because other people were pursuing things, because certain things were going to, get me more reach or maybe help me achieve my goals a lot faster and so many different things. But as a pre-PT, it's understanding that we have our lane, we have our own journey, we're running our own race. And if we don't keep that in mind, we're going to make the 3 mistakes that I'm going to share with you right now. If we don't stay in our own lane, we're going to make these mistakes. And I have made them as a physical therapist. I have made them as a PT student. I have made them as a pre-PT. Because one of the things, and this is why I share these things, because one of the things that I have struggled with, really a lot is like comparing myself. And that's why a lot of times I'm like, man, like you can't compare yourself to other people, because I've seen like how detrimental it can be to your own growth, how detrimental it can be to your own journey, because you're saying, well, regardless of what that person's journey is, I need to be exactly where they're at. So for me, it's like, regardless of what that person's position is in terms of their career, I need to be where they're at. For you, it's regardless of where that person's journey is, has brought them from. They just got accepted into a program, so I got to be where they're at. So now I'm comparing myself with someone that has a completely different storyline than what I have. Now, if you've ever found yourself in that position, and I know I live it, like give me a like, comment, something. Just let me know somehow that is something that you have struggled with, because that's really what one of my biggest battles is, and really as we do that, as we set ourselves up as pre-PTs, we want to get into PT school, as we set ourselves up to be successful future physical therapists, we have to hold back and say, like, what are the mistakes that we are naturally making out of fear of failure, out of fear of being beaten by other students, out of the fear of attempting to apply over and over and over again and not getting in. Like, what are the mistakes that we keep repeatedly making? And here they are. These are the mistakes that I've made. These are the mistakes that maybe you've made. And really, like, after this weekend, after my crash on Friday, I realized I really want to share this with you so that you can also start understanding what you have to watch out for as a pre-PT if you want to have a chance at getting into a physical therapy program. What you have to watch out for as a pre-PT if you want to have a chance at being a successful physical therapist. If you want to become a business owner like myself and Casey, how to do that so you're not jeopardizing yourself, so that you're not overhauling yourself just to like meet some expectation that you have created for yourself, like I did, which led to my health, going downhill. And the first mistake is overestimating threats. Overestimating threats. Overestimating threats is the number one out of the three biggest mistakes. The three mistakes that your brain has deceived you into thinking is the norm. But overestimating threats, what does that look like? Looks like thinking that everything is the end of the world. You overestimate your threats when you're, when you take the GRE and it does not go well the first time. That is overestimating a threat. It gets to the point, you can correct me, but it gets to the point where we're like, oh shoot, like this, like, why even try? Why even try to apply? Like, I can't even pass this thing, so how am I even gonna survive PT school? We overestimate it. We overestimate threats because sometimes someone else's success is a threat to us. Someone else doing well is a threat. Someone else getting accepted, like, man, I have classmates that were like, yeah, I should have gotten in, the first time I applied. I remember seeing a classmate that applied that, didn't have as good a grades as I did, didn't have as many observation hours as I did, but they still got accepted. It's a threat. Like, we see it as a threat and we overestimate it. We overanalyze it. We start telling ourselves that, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not for me. I've told myself that even with my career, like certain things just won't go as fast as I want them to. And it's like, well, maybe that's not for me. So I even bother. Maybe that's not for me. So I even bother applying to PT school. Maybe that's not for me. So why even give it a shot? Like, why even try again? Why would I try again to apply to PT school and put myself through the same pain, the same hurt, the same anxiety? Like, why would I do that? We focus on other applicants who are winning. That's a threat. We have an interview and the interview doesn't go our way, or maybe the whole process leading up to it, we had mentally prepared properly. We had, had a family member that rehearsed with us. We were standing in front of the mirror, just kind of going at it. We had a coach. We were so locked in. We were so ready. How you doing, Emily? We were so ready, but then you go in. You go in and it does not go your way. So that's a threat. It feels like a threat. It feels like another check mark saying another reason why you can't get into PT school. Isn't that what we do for ourselves? We make the mistake of overestimating threats. The things that you see as threats aren't even big enough to be considered a threat. It might be a stumbling block, but it's not even big enough to be considered a threat. And when we overestimate them, we put ourselves in the position to like, kind of like the video that I did a few weeks ago about, getting in the mental rabbit hole. We put ourselves in the position to get to that point where we're in a darkened place where we just think that everything's out to get us, where we just think that the process is not for us, where we just think that because of our GPA, because of our GRE, because of our interview, because our whatever, like, we just think that, this is not mine. This is not even mine. This application process, this whole PT thing isn't designed for me. Because we overestimate threats. Number two, the second mistake that our mind has, sometimes deceives us into thinking, well, we underestimate opportunities. We underestimate opportunities. So we overestimate threats, we underestimate opportunities, which looks like, well, maybe as an applicant, maybe I feel comfortable. Maybe I'm like, let me just do the bare minimum. I see that the school is looking for a certain GPA. I see that the school is looking for certain GRE scores. Let me just meet that, because if I meet that, then at least I'm considered a student-ish. I'm considered for the cycle. I'm considered for their program. Instead of looking for ways to stand out, instead of looking for opportunities that will allow us to grow, instead of looking for ways to not only stand out for them, but to better prepare ourselves for the PT school journey we're about to hop on. We've never been to PT school. We've never been to like in a doctorate level program. So we underestimate opportunities that are laid out for us, or opportunities that might be local. It might be anything from, local services where you can, help with races and just understand how other clinicians are doing their thing. It could be shadowing other professionals. It could be, working for a particular clinic. It could be, doing certain projects that might be out of the box. It could be, taking advantage of the opportunity of you being in here. So right now you're inside of the pre-doctor of physical therapy students page, which is it's a pretty nice sized group with a lot of people along your journey, with some people who've also surpassed where you're at, some people who've also gotten accepted, some PTs that are also in here that might be able to help you out, but you're underestimating an opportunity. So to you, this group might just be, now if you're live right now, or if you're commenting, or if you're watching right now, well, you're a little outside of the norm. But to somebody that is just here, just passively just absorbing content, just listening to my live streams, listening to Casey's live streams, and just saying, all right, cool, this makes me feel good. It gives me energy. It makes me realize that I'm still, okay, take advantage of the opportunity. You're underestimating an opportunity to build relationships with other people that can help push you past where you're at right now. People that have the solution to what you're struggling with. And that solution is not coming from your academic advisor. That solution is not coming from faculty members that you might have on your campus. That solution is not coming from, family members that might not understand what you're going through and why you're doing it, and might not even buy into the fact that you want to be a physical therapist. I know mine sure didn't. My family sure did not. But you're underestimating opportunities. How can I stand out as an applicant? How can I stand out as a person? How can I grow as a person? How can I better prepare myself for the application process, for PT school in general? And how can I use the opportunities that are currently at hand? Because if you're in this group right now, you currently have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to interact with the biggest platform of other pre-physical therapy students right now in existence. But to you, is it an opportunity? Is it just a pastime? Heck, if I had opportunities like what you can do online, you don't even have to leave your apartment. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to leave your bedroom. All you have to do is network with people online. Find other people that already have what you're looking for. Opportunities to learn other skills that can help you out as a future clinician. We have, right now, I have some of my interns who are pre-PTs, who have decided we want to learn skills that will allow us to ultimately create our own online business at some point. So can we learn that? So what they've done is they said, hey, Joseph and Casey, can we join your team? Can we join your team and just learn everything that you guys know about the online game? Can we learn how to use Facebook properly to serve people? Can we learn how to use Instagram properly to serve people? Can we learn how to use YouTube properly to serve people? Blogs, email. How can we build relationships with other people that we've never met? How do we do that? How do you create a group with 3,500 people in it? How do you do that? How do you keep people engaged? How do you come up with so much content? What do you how do you serve a group of people? How do you become an influencer? How do you do it? So what they did is they said, hey, can we just come and learn? That was an opportunity that they took advantage of. An opportunity that I, honestly, knowing myself as a pre-PT, I don't even know if I would have taken that opportunity. I know how valuable it is right now. But where I was mentally, I don't know if I would have. But the first mistake we make is we overestimate our threats. The second one is we underestimate our opportunities, the opportunities that are currently in front of us. And lastly, we underestimate the resources that are at hand for dealing with the threats and fulfilling those opportunities. So what are you underestimating? Heck, what are you overestimating? What are your big anxieties? What are your big fears that are so big as a pre-PT that is holding you back? That are so big that there's no way in the world that it can be rectified? that are so heavy that they're weighing down on you, that you're not sleeping well. The only reason why I collapsed on Friday is because I hadn't been sleeping well. There were a lot of anxieties that I've been struggling with personally that had built up to the point where like I literally had to do a half day at work, barely made it back to my spot and just collapsed. But what is it for you? Is it keeping you up at night? Is it causing you to stay stressed consistently where you're either staying stressed or you're saying, you know what, let me just forget about it because it's possibly not even going to happen. So why even, bother spending my mental energy on it? But what are you overestimating? What are you underestimating? Because if you can understand that, then that becomes the key to winning as a pre-PT. That is now, as I'm training myself to do that, that is really what's becoming the key to me finding more clarity so that I can help more people. Well, so I can help you guys. So I can help pre-PTs. So I can come on these live streams after, working in the clinic, so that I can talk to you guys on the phone when you're in the acceptance system or all these other things, so that we can make sure that you are being served. But for you, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Your goals are just a little different from mine right now. But we're all going through the same things, the same anxieties, the same fears, the same questions. We're overestimating a lot of things that we shouldn't be overestimating. We're overestimating things that we are we are equipped to handle. But because we think that every negative thing that happens to us is a sign that maybe this isn't for us, is a sign that maybe I'm not meant to be a PT, is a sign that maybe someone else is better equipped than I am to be a physical therapist, and really underestimating the opportunities that are at hand. Look for them. Look for them. They're everywhere. They might be locally. You have opportunities there. You have opportunities to meet with other clinicians that are successful. You have opportunities to meet with them online. You have you have resources at hand, whether it's some of our resources, whether it's resources that you have locally that you can use to allow you to break away. And that's the biggest thing I want you guys to do, to allow you to break away from these false beliefs, to break away from the false beliefs that really, as a pre-PT, I can't handle all of these things that I'm overestimating. That as a pre-PT, I'm not taking advantage of the opportunities that are sitting right in front of me. That as a pre-PT, I'm not understanding the resources or taking use or utilizing the resources that I can or should be utilizing as an applicant in order to really set myself up for really just not only acceptance into PT school, but just to become an absolutely beast of a person. So that even after I'm done with PT school, I can keep pushing beyond that and not make that my ultimate goal. And that's what I'm currently learning. That's what I'm currently learning, because even up until this past week, I was struggling with these three. I'm not even gonna say was. I think I still am. I think I'm still learning how to handle them. I'm still learning how to how to push myself past them. And it's easy to say it. It's easy to say it. It's a lot harder to do it. So let me show you what I did. So for me, this morning, what I did is I woke up at 4:30 and I was freaking out. I was all right, cool. I have all these things in my head. So I woke up at 4:30 and I said, how can I set myself up so that as I'm going through, I'm not really giving a lot of room for any extra deviations. I'm not giving myself a lot of room for any distractions. I'm not giving myself a lot of room for any negative thoughts. I'm not giving myself a lot of room for really anything to throw me off of my mission. Your mission right now is to get into PT school. My mission is to help you get into PT school. Does that make sense? And so as I'm doing that, I had to literally create literally every single day. I've literally outlined every single hour of my day, what it's going to look like. Every single one. To say, how can I ensure that there's nothing throwing me off my track to make sure that I'm taking care of pre-PTs? And do it in a way that allows me to still do my job as a physical therapist, still take care of, my fiance, still take care of myself so that what happened on Friday doesn't happen. But those are the levels that you might have to go to, where you say, what do I have to do to make sure that I'm not distracted, to make sure that I'm not having to pay attention to all the other people that are, I mean, it's good to see other people win, But I also know that that sometimes becomes a deterrent if you're using it as a comparison. So use that. Find whatever works for you. For me, it was creating a calendar where every single moment of the day I account for. For you, it might be something different. But you have a calling. If you're inside of this group, you have a calling to become a physical therapist. It's a calling unlike any other. It's a calling into a profession that is absolutely phenomenal because of what we do for people, because of how many people we have the ability to serve, because of how many people don't even know we exist. But because it's yours. Your calling is yours. So if it's yours still, if it's the calling that you want to take hold of and know, okay, I want to do whatever I need to do to get in, then lock into it. Lock into it. But it's not just watching a live video and feeling energetic and just being like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. No. This is work. Because we are all, including myself, we are all victims of sometimes getting in our own head, unless we're careful about it. And it's these 3 mistakes that I told you tonight. But really, it's just constantly feeding ourselves, feeding our minds the wrong message, feeding our minds with certain things that don't necessarily help you succeed. And if you have to put up the blinders as a pre-PT so that you can stay like locked in on the mark as an applicant, so you can stay locked in on where you're supposed to go, avoiding all the gray, avoiding all the distractions, locking yourself in, that might be for you, staying away from social media. Unless it's us, follow pre-PT grind. But really, like, staying away from social media because it's allowing you to waste a lot of time. That might be staying away from certain conversations with, family members about you becoming a PT because it might throw you off because of their doubts. It might mean like staying away from having to rely so much on faculty members and all that. Come on, like whatever it is for you, it's going to be different for each and every one of us. But whatever it is for you to stay locked in, it comes with, first of all, understanding that these mistakes, we have to find a way to eradicate them, but we also have to find a way to stay focused as applicants. And if you can do that, then you're setting yourself up for some absolutely amazing things as a pre-PT. So go get it. Go get your profession. It's yours for the taking. Have an absolutely amazing evening. We'll talk. Bye.